Malolele, hello Algeta, and a warm welcome to this season's finale of the Pacific Way. Seaweed farming is one of the few industries in the Pacific Island countries that is culturally and technologically appropriate and able to provide marine-based livelihood benefits for both men and women in remote coastal communities. The Australian Centre for International Agricultural Research is working with partner agencies in the region to modernize and expand the seaweed industry.
Seaweed provides the opportunity to take a holistic approach to health promotion. It enables us to look at the entire food system, and women can potentially play a role at each step along this process. Successfully and sustainably growing sea grapes is excellent for building nutritional and social capacity.
For those people who are unemployed, seaweed farming is one of the main sources of income for them. The future of the seaweed in Kiribati, we will really want to look into other useful products outcome from the seaweed, so that we can develop our own local market for the seaweed rather than depending on the export market of the dried seaweed.
In Samoa, I believe we can go back and reintroduce the limua out to the young generation or to the children, and give them the opportunity that this is one of the delicacies that they have to like and taste.
This is an alternative source of protein that we can utilize it in the future for our people.
A lot of the Pacific Islands have gone from their local traditional diets to more Western style of eating, and we're consequently seeing those health effects. We need to try and encourage those populations to go back to the local foods, and seaweed is the perfect way to do that.
We're here today in beautiful Kiribati, where we're running a training workshop for women on how to utilise seaweed. We've taken some women from Samoa, and they're training the local women in Kiribati here on ways in which to clean seaweed and package seaweed so that it's ready for sale.
Talufalava Maui. My name is Simola Talalele, and I'm from Samoa, and we are here in the capital city of Kiribati to teach the local women how to collect the sea grape.
We've just been down to the Untitled to see the sea grapes in their natural habitat. Some of the women are very familiar with them. They've been familiar eating them as children, and one lady even said that she remembers her mother using it to attend to bleeding gum. So there's real history and cultural connection to this seaweed.
I see this morning the ladies, they're very happy for eating seaweed because their first time.
Sea grapes is very abundant in Kiribati, and it's very easy to get it. And you just go out on the reef and collect them and come back and prepare it for your family.
If we have no husband, we can only ourselves, women, we can collect that seaweed for us to eat.
From our side, it's been a very exciting workshop to be a part of, because you can sense the enthusiasm from the participants, what they're learning and the harvesting and the processing, and then also when they've taken that processed seaweed out to the market, to the village place, interacting with customers, coming up, asking them questions about, can we eat it, how do we eat it, how do we prepare it, how much can it feed my whole family? All these really insightful bits of information that they'll be able to take and use to develop this new industry in the country.
We have taken some sea grapes which has been prepared by workshop participant, and we trialed it out to general public to see what is their response, and to my amazement all the parcels which were prepared have been sold, and that only indicates that there's a lot of interest, and it just needs to be harnessed.
It's good too for the family, for the minerals, to make ourselves healthy.
It Kiribati is a country that's not actually relying on vegetables every day. Sea grape, it can play an important role as a vegetable to our meal.
Mary, my name is Karipanang Tamara. I'm the Principal Fisheries Officer looking after the aquaculture unit in Kiribati. And one of the priority of aquaculture is seaweed farming. And we are right here now, about 200 meters away from the shore, close to the seaweed farming, just right at the back. The technology is very simple and can be easily adopted by the local community.
My name is Tamero, and I'm a seaweed farm, and I'm working on the line now to let the line green, to always make sure that the line green and the seaweed are attached with it. The seaweed is growing very fast, so it only gives me a short time, within less than 3 weeks, and then I can have money. It's not a very hard job for you. It's very important for me because I can sell the seaweed to the CBB here and earn money, and I can use that money for my family. I think that is a very good job.
Most of the work that we've been doing in the project is with villages along the coastline, but at some point that space is going to become limited, and the next frontier for seaweed farming in places like Kiribati and across the whole Pacific is to go out into the ocean in sea cages such as you can see behind me. This is the first example of sea cage farming of seaweed in Kiribati, and I'm sure it won't be the last for the Pacific.
From the University of the Sunshine Coast Seaweed Lab, and I'm here in Samoa at Asonga Village. We've been working here with an ACR project on seaweed diversification, looking for this seaweed, Kulepa.
Over the past 4 years, I've been working with government departments in Samoa, Fiji and Kiribati, principally the Ministry of Fisheries and Agriculture. One of the major outcomes of the project has been the identification of Kulepa across the 3 countries that we've worked in. I've been training the fisheries staff, and working together with them we've trained the local communities to harvest or grow these seaweed so that they can consume them locally.
The Samoans use the limu fuafua. They eat it raw. They'll just harvest, wrap them and then expose them for sale. But mostly Samoans, they eat it raw. With the halimina or the limua'au is a red seaweed, we cook them in coconut cream. Here in Samoa, there's a lot of changes going on about the limu. There are communities that were not known for limu habitats. Now they have found sea grape in the marine environments. Just take, for example, this village where we are now. Before, there was no limu fuafua in the village, apart from the limua'au. And after the inception of the project, now we have seen sea grape growing naturally. I believe in going back to traditional and cultural food because of the cost of living that we are faced now. And also, we are looking at diversifying in terms of income generation and the livelihood of our people. With the young generation, it's always best to give them back, you know, the significance of culture and traditional food of Samoa.
My name is Deborah Sandranu. I'm the Managing Director of the Essence of Fiji Group. I've been living in Fiji for 20 years, and our company focuses on giving back to the women, empowering women, creating employment and sustainability. Nama is a seaweed that comes from the Yasawa group of islands. The minerals are excellent for hydrating the skin cells, plumping the cells. Nama also reduces redness, rosacea and cuprose, which is very, very common in facial treatments. We created the product to use in our academy for beauty and spa training, and we are also now manufacturing skincare products to export globally. So that's very exciting for Fiji and very exciting for the women of the Yasawas, remembering that everything goes back to them.
For me, what's exciting about seaweed is that this is a product that we don't necessarily know a lot about in terms of consumption patterns, and the fact that it could have an impact on someone's diet in an area where we have so much diet-related disease is really exciting.
Taste of sea grapes is nice.
It's also crunchy.
It's crunchy, and toward the end of it you can taste it's a bit spicy.
It tastes really salty, rich taste.
It's unique. Today we were using the tori, which is the sap from the coconut tree.
It's really nice when you put together with other ingredients like coconut cream, lemon, onions, and tuna flakes. It really tastes awesome.
The thing I'm excited about seaweed is that it can really help our economy. It contains a lot of health benefits that can help with our well-being.
The training on the sea grape here is a very important one because it's also part of our vision in reducing poverty, maximizing benefit from our resources, and through this sea grape training, it could provide women more opportunities in how to utilize the sea grape.
Because of the workshop they have learned, now they're going to put it on their table and also teach their communities to use it.
Nama, limu fuafua, grape antari, no matter what you call it, sea grapes are a delicious part of Pacific Island culture and a great example of how versatile seaweed is for remote communities. Today, seaweed is the world's largest marine crop, yet it's almost exclusively produced in Asia. Yet right now there's a real surge of interest in Australia and other Western countries as we look for new ways to sustainably feed the planet.
We are the Pacific Way, bringing you stories that matter to the Pacific people. Livestock plays an important role in the social, cultural, and economic environment of the Pacific Island communities. Indeed, many of the important social and cultural events in the island life cannot be properly carried out without livestock. Work commenced in 2008 to preserve the genes of indigenous species of livestock in the region.
Indigenous breeds of poultry and pigs have been a cultural and traditional part in the lives of all Pacific Islands for hundreds of years. The genetic makeup of these breeds have made them resilient to our harsh climates and play an essential role in contributing to food security and sustainable livelihoods in a number of ways. But these indigenous breeds of poultry and pigs are now under threat and declining in numbers. With them, their precious genetic resources are also fading away. Since 2008, the Pacific community has been working with the Food and Agriculture Organization to conserve and sustainably manage the genetic pool of these indigenous breeds of pigs and poultry in several Pacific countries.
Animal genetic resources is also very important because these desirable livestock breeds are able to provide us with food and nutritional security. For example, they give us meat, milk, and eggs. And also their byproducts such as manure can also be used to boost crop production. And I think importantly as well is the fact that they provide us with a pool of genetic resources that we could use for future breeding purposes.
There are a number of threats facing these indigenous species around the Pacific.
I think there are quite a few threats, but some of the major ones are the loss of their habitat. So if their habitat is lost, then basically they have nowhere to survive. And this loss of habitat can come about through things like deforestation, And some of the things that cause this is the increase in population. And then we have the impacts of climate change. We have things like, I know with a lot of climate variability now, you have a lot of extreme heat, you have periods of drought where there's no water. So it impacts them that there's nothing for them to feed on. So the impacts of climate change can really, affect them and wipe them out.
SPC has now teamed up with the relevant government agencies in 3 Pacific islands to undertake breeding programs to conserve the indigenous animal genetic resources. The Fiji Ministry of Agriculture has sourced indigenous pig breeds from a number of sites within Fiji and is now trying to interbreed them to conserve the genetic makeup of these species. Blood samples are collected and sent for analysis to better understand the genetic makeup of these indigenous breeds.
We would like to work towards maintaining the nucleus of the indigenous pig breed, and then, for our source, for example. And then we will also look at maintaining a nucleus of the indigenous pig breed from different sources. So I've also talked about the crossing between the improved breeds and the indigenous pig breed, but I think that probably may go against or may conflict the interest in maintaining the genetic biodiversity of the indigenous pig breed.
We had collected blood samples from pigs and chickens, and then we had sent them for DNA characterization overseas, and the results that came back were that they were quite unique. They were quite unique. They were bred on its own, and they had very high diversity, which means they are breeds that had been evolving over a long period of time because of geographic isolation. So those breeds are very important, and I think we need to conserve them for future breeding purposes.
Down in the Sigatoka Valley, the Salad Bowl of Fiji, SPC, in partnership with the Food and Agriculture Organization and the Paris Guerrero Trust Fund, is also working with Austin Bowden Kirby, the founder of the Happy Chicken Project, to try and conserve the indigenous breeds of chicken in Fiji. Sigatoka Valley is one region where native breeds of chicken or jungle fowls once roamed freely in numbers. Austin has sourced native breeds of chicken from maritime zones around Fiji, including Vatulele Island, Kandavu, Savusavu and Taveuni. With support from SPC and the Food and Agriculture Organization, the new breeder sheds are being constructed on his farm, along with an equipped training room. These facilities will be used to train interested farmers from around the region on conservation and sustainable management of indigenous breeds of chicken. Austin is also crossbreeding the native breeds with hybrids, such as the Kabir breed of chicken from Pakistan, and the results look promising, as the indigenous genetics is making these exotic breeds more adaptive to the local climatic challenges.
I think the only way for these local breeds to survive is we have to improve them without destroying their genetic makeup. So as far as at the farm, if you expect a commercial farmer to raise Vatulele chickens, I think that's too much. But if the commercial farmer realizes that this is Vatulele blood, making it strong, and so you've got a crossbred chicken that, so I think what we really need to do is try to find this long-term support for breeding farms.
If we don't do anything now, the indigenous pig and poultry breeds will surely definitely be declining in number, and they will reach a point where they will become extinct.
And we need to create more awareness with the national governments in the countries on the importance of animal genetic resources. And then we also need to make them aware of the global plan of action that is already there for them to use to formulate their national policies on how the
address the animal genetic resources. In fact, it's how they conserve and manage them sustainably. So they need to include those frameworks into their national policies to try and get them address the issues of animal genetic resources.
And that brings us to the end of another season of Pacific Way. We hope you enjoyed our stories and performances from across the Pacific. You can check out all our videos and episodes on the Pacific Way YouTube channel and the Pacific Way Facebook page. Make sure to click like and follow us as we prepare for a brand new season of the Pacific Way. Until next season, au revoir, mahalo, and ni sa mo demanda.
It's pretty much unique to the whole state of Yap, although there are some neighboring islands who perform a variation of the same thing. You know, you could tell that maybe some time back, maybe one place started it, but then it is spreading to other places. Yeah.